is obviously the people talk about the defensive side of what happened in the first half. I thought they did surprise us a bit with the way they pressed us. But I can't remember a time where England have gone forward so well, played so well, and looked so dangerous. And that's what I'm more focused on. We can always work on the defensive side of it, but yeah, of course, then you've got guys on the bench who know that they're going to come on and they've got a part to play. But yeah, that was tough. That was hard work to watch, man, for a bit. I was nervous, bro.
You have to find different ways to play. It's not just going to be one style of play. We'll see the Spanish and the French. Sometimes it will be about sitting in, and England look at threat. Sometimes it's about control. We know the importance of set piece, the depth of the squad. And also I enjoyed about England today, there were runners in behind.
Yes.
I think that whatever about the Croatian lads, we talk, their experience is one of their strengths, but it can be their weakness, especially when England are full of energy and pace, and they ran all over them, and they won the midfield battle, which is always key.
They'd been blasted at half-time. We saw Anthony Barry, the assistant coach's interview, where he was really forceful on them, he was punchy. They weren't happy. They've come out really aggressive at the start of the second half. I mean, the Jude Bellingham argument is over. We've spent the last 3 or 4 months, right, you've been at sort of the forefront of this about whether it's Jude Bellingham or Morgan Rogers. We can't be disrespectful to Morgan Rogers because he's a really good player, but Jude Bellingham is the absolute top player. We've got fantastic players in Bellingham and Kane up top. If the other 8 just play around them and feed them, they will win us football matches, and they've done that today.
And
yes.
we were saying this just before we went to Harry Kane here, Ian. England have got runners, they've got pace, and as Royce just said, people who want to run in beyond, and here's a perfect example.
Brilliant play from us, the way we played out. You know, Emma done it brilliantly on a chalkboard. Emma done brilliantly showing us this, but like the fact is, it's the movement and the one touch and the ball in the back. I thought that was getting in the way there, but like obviously the defender, Roy's not happy with the defender running away from Jude, but honestly, Jude, you know, I can't believe people doubted him. I'm just so pleased that once again he's proved to the doubters what he is. You know what I mean? What he is, and he is a top player, he's a superstar.
Yeah. And there was a lot of nervous energy around him, and maybe they needed to get to the half-time, just have that breather. Again, we talk about what you do in terms of possession, but it's really important, like Harry Kane said, and sometimes a manager needs to remind players, it's what you do out of possession.
Yeah.
And as good as Bellingham was in possession, his work rate was fantastic. Second half, we've seen him make a lot of great tackles running back, and that can lift players in a different way.
You know, it was good to hear him say when Harry Kane said that the manager said, if we're going to lose, let's lose how we're going to play. Yep. That's the main thing. And, you know, they came out in second half perfect.
Oh, there's a template, isn't there? He's made it quite clear, Thomas Tuchel, this is the way I want my England to play.
There's 2 or 3 subs that have come on there. Jed Spence has come on. He's done really well. I think that Marcus Rashford's come on, and Anthony Gordon was a little bit quiet today. I think there'll be changes for the second game. I think genuinely there is competition for places. The manager doesn't respect reputations. He plays players that he thinks are in form. And I think even at centre-back, Mark Gay coming on for John Stones, I think there's something there in that as well. So, look, it was really positive at the end. I agree with Roy. It was good to get a couple of punches in the first half and just demonstrate our vulnerabilities. We can't take for granted the fact that we just need to protect that back four a little bit more.
You don't often see in a World Cup game what happened the next 5 minutes, which is just a siege of the goal, and Livakovic played brilliantly. Yeah. It's quite unusual for a World Cup game where suddenly one team is just constantly attacking. You thought it was going to end 5 or 6.
There was a really good feel to the game from the start. It didn't feel. We were thinking, would it be cagey? But again, it felt like a knockout game. And that's what made it a brilliant game. And as much as Croatia lacked that bit of quality, they had a right go. But England showed their qualities toward the end. We talk about the options off the bench. The English success, you need Kane, obviously, at his very, very best. But competition from within the squad will drive this team to the latter stages, and whether they can get over the line obviously remains to be seen.
And the confidence they get from creating so many chances in that 5-minute spell. Of course, they need to take them, and they want to take them. Sometimes a bounce of the ball, the goalkeeper plays extremely well. But for 5 minutes, it was attack v defence.
It was. They were on the ropes. You know, Jude there, that was just after he scored the goal. You know, we straight in again, and it was a definite, like, they were really wobbling. You know what I mean? A bit great there to try and get another goal in that time. But by this time, I didn't think that they were going to cause us any more problems. That was brilliant. The keeper for them, it's made some unbelievable saves. This could have been anything.
But you know that this is not going to last forever, and that you have to get another goal, because there was about 10 minutes before the 4th goal where Croatia then pressed, didn't they?
This was brilliant from Jed Spence when Jed Spence came on.
My point is, you have to. All right, England have won the game, but you need to take that. When you're on top, you need to take that opportunity to stretch that lead, don't you? Because it won't last forever.
No, it won't last forever, but what we saw is a team that wants to go forward and want to get and create chances, and then the more you do go forward, like in this game, and take those chances, the more confidence you'll get, especially the players coming off the bench. Now they've got a chance as well.
In a tournament, Mark, in a perfect world, what you'd have is a team that can play high intensity for 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes and blow teams away, which is what we've done there in that part of the game. You'd also have a team that can sit back and soak up a bit of pressure when they're on top. The third bit is the most important bit, is the bit, can we keep possession and take the sting out of the game by keeping the ball? We haven't quite demonstrated that today, but that might come later in the tournament.
Yeah, and when you think of the talk about like the technical ability of the England players, that would have been a hammer blow just going in a half-time, conceding a goal.
Definitely.
So the reactions suggest, obviously they're up for a fight, and on top of the quality. And it's great again in a manager to remind players about what goes on in the football game. You got to run. You got to close people down. Never forget that side of it, because all this talent without that other bit is no good to you. So they found that little bit in the second half, and I thought they did control the second half.
Yes. Mark, when they said that they were going to listen to the assistant manager, Anthony Barry, I think, what we're listening to him for? And then, obviously, you're just thinking the assistant manager's going to come on, he's going to say, yeah, it's
blandishments,
bland, say nothing, bit vanilla. He came on, he was fuming. He was absolutely fuming with that first half performance, and it told us a lot. It told us a lot about the mentality of how Thomas Tuchel will have been ripping into them at half-time. Harry Kane called it a speech. That would have been, I think that would have been quite forceful words and saying that's not good enough. We can't be like that.
And then just see how many of the finishers, the subs, the finishers is the modern term, isn't it, were involved in that fourth goal. I mean, there's so many of them. Spence was involved, Saka was involved, Rashford finishes it.
I was delighted for someone like Jed Spence because he's somebody that's got a little bit of criticism saying that, oh, you know, Jed Spence, he can defend. But look at Jed Spence trying to get forward. Even with the chance we just saw him get there, where he just missed out with the keeper. But then Saka coming on, you know what I mean, calmly, setting it in for Rashford to finish so brilliantly. Something it didn't look like we could ever have done in the first half with that left side.
We've got 5 in the box right here. I tell you what, honestly, when those lads run forward at the speed that they are, they're going to be unplayable to certain teams. They really are. Honestly, look at this. It's devastating, the speed of this.
No matter who you are defensively, Roy, that many people, speed running at you is a danger.
When the game is stretched like that, of course, you've got pace. You can't coach that. You've got pace and power. And obviously, how many times we've seen Rash, poor defender, he's got to keep Marcus on his left-hand side, but beautiful. And when he gets on that side, again, the power, you've mentioned earlier, the power of his instep, his finish, is absolutely fantastic. Beautiful. And as soon as he turned back inside, it was a goal. And you see the manager, they enjoyed it, didn't they?
Yeah. He was just holding his hamstring after the game, Rashford. So we don't know, because sometimes that's what happens. And Rice, of course, came off, and he's been nursing a back injury for a couple of months, Rice. So he's going to have to be careful. I think in a perfect world, you beat Ghana respectfully, and then maybe you can think about what you're going to do after that with the Panama game.
Yeah, well, I think that your hope is precautionary, obviously, but like the fact is that I thought that when we did go 3-2 and we were really on top of him, I thought, it might be a good time just to take him off. I think it is precautionary more than anything else. Hopefully it is. But like at the same time, we have got players that can come on and do. You drop Jude back, you know, you still got Elliott, them two to play together. We've got cover. We've got cover for people.
Mark, at the start of the game, what we were worried about for England was that Luka Modric was going to run the game. That didn't happen. You know, obviously he's a great player, but he went off, I think, after 55 minutes. It was just too much for him. And our lads, to be fair, you know, this is him
England pressed him from the word go, didn't they?
Honestly, Elliot Anderson in particular, we really targeted him and sort of got around him and didn't let him dictate the game. In years gone past, England teams have stood off players like that and let them have 100 passes. These lads didn't do that today, to be fair to them.
And he never quite got his rhythm, so he's been pressed immediately, and then a couple of moments later, from here, he gives away the penalty when he brings down Madueke, and then we have the situation with the twice taken penalty. Just, for the first time ever, looked like he was half a beat off.
Yeah, which again was a problem when you're playing in the middle of the park. Again, your experience can be vital, but if you're not at it and people are running over you, that experience then can cost you, because he's 40 years of age. And England dominated midfield, and that was a big part of winning the game. And I don't think England paid Modric any respect in that sense, and you're not supposed to.
No.
You're in there, you're battling for your own country, obviously. And that's, again, these were big moments. Big moments in the game.
Now, it might have been retaken anyway, because the goalkeeper appears to have left his line, but definitely retaken because Gvardiol, who got to the rebound, had encroached. So it was in the area the moment that Harry Kane actually made connection with the ball. So it's retaken, and he doesn't miss from there. And then after 1-1, they then mysteriously leave him totally alone. One of the best strikers in the world is left alone from a corner, which is unfathomable.
Yeah, peculiar. Yeah. You know, that's something that if you've done that in the Championship or lower leagues, people say, well, that's just going to happen. But we're talking about on the world stage. You know, that's Harry Kane, and they've got big fellas as well, you know, Croatia. And you're thinking for Harry Kane to be free at the back post there, what else are you expecting to happen? It's just like he's totally
What's happening defensively, Gary?
It's just purely the fact it's an outswinger. They've gone zonal, they've got the 6 or 7 lads in the zone, but Harry Kane's just distanced himself, he's disconnected, and then they put the block on a couple of the England lads in front and they just left it open for him. Look, what I would say is now there's 3 weeks preparation for this tournament. England have been working on these set pieces, a little bit of Arsenal coming into
Thank
England.
you very much, Gal. It's all right now, everybody's happy with it now, aren't they? Yeah,
set piece ole ole.
Yeah, exactly. Brilliant ball in, but that's what you want. If you're going to leave Harry Kane free, you've got someone like Declan Rice who can put it in there. It's brilliant.
Like, England will be disappointed with the 2 goals they conceded, but the first 3 goals, OK, the last one, the game's getting stretched, but the first 3 goals Croatia conceded, wow, so poor.
One of the things over the last 12 to 18 months is that suggested that he doesn't like doing interviews, and that's one of the things that maybe has sort of irked his teammates at times. But look, it's not me to advise Jude Bellingham. When he speaks, he speaks beautifully, he speaks with confidence, he's got stature, he's a big game player. I think when he speaks, he's probably going to make his other teammates feel better because of the way in which he projects himself. So, look, it's great to see him. It was a great goal he scored, and he's a big game player. And, look, there's doubts sometimes about these young lads and whether they've got potential to go the whole way, but he is absolutely fantastic as a football player.
Authority and authenticity, doesn't he?
Yeah, of course. And again, he's a big player, a big expectation. And there's a reason there's a big expectation, because they can produce. They've got the belief, the confidence, and again, he spoke well there. And it is nice to see maybe another side to these players, because a lot of PR around him and social media, so it's nice to see him. And again, he stepped up to the plate today. That's the most important thing.
Well, my question at the beginning was, if England are going to go far, then either they're going to have a superstar or the elite players all have to play very well at the same time. If they're going to go far, Kane and Bellingham have to play really well. I think that's fairly self-evident.
I think that is, yeah. And what we saw is that, again, in this game, they both stepped up, and I'm sure that when the games get tougher, they'll do that again. But at the same time, I'll go with Gary. We've got to make sure that we are funneling it into those two, because they will deliver. They both will deliver. And I think, watching us today offensively was really good to watch. It's a long time since I've seen an England team going forward with that much gusto, and it was brilliant. It's brilliant that we beat them like we did. I wouldn't say that Croatia were as great as we thought they might have been with their experience, their warriorship, but the fact is, we beat them, and we beat them quite comfortably in the end.
Yeah, and they scored, when you think of it, a tough international match, yes, they scored 4, could have been 7 or 8.
Yes.
They missed some really great chances, so it's not bad going.
Well, also, I think for people watching at home, because whoever they're supporting at home, they want to see lots of flowing football and some excitement. And as I said, I think at half-time, Messi got a hat-trick, Mbappe got 2, they looked the business, Haaland got 2, England have scored 4 goals. This is what we want on a broader scale, isn't it?
And it was probably tough on England waiting for their game to kick off, and they're seeing all that. So you could feel it before the game, and obviously we heard at half-time there was tension in the groove, which is only natural. So again, to turn out, we all watch football matches, we love team shape, we like tactics, we want to see goals, we want to see entertainment. And England provided that today.
You know what? Sorry, Gal, you want to say? Go on,
No, you go.
No, I was going to say, when you're younger and you watch the World Cup, you always want to watch that main player from that country and what he does. And the names you've mentioned there, they've all done something. So for all those young kids watching, they'll have seen their top guys do something. That'll make them really excited about the World Cup.
That's what I was just going to say. My first World Cup watching was '82, and it made me dream Brian Robson scoring that goal against France. And there's a kid there that's been watching, thousands of kids have been watching their first World Cup tonight. English fans, and they'll be feeling like the World Cup has just begun and we're making them dream. It's magic. It is magic football. Absolutely. Sometimes.
Just didn't score in 27 seconds like Brian Robson, that's all. But we'll let them off, I think. Because, it's going to be such a long World Cup. You said it would have been hard for England to have to wait that long.
Yeah.
But at least they've got that out of the way. If they do progress, it's going to be 4 games in a very short space of time, which feeds back even more to this business of the whole squad, isn't it, as well? And if you're Morgan Rogers tonight, you're thinking, well, Jude Bellingham probably is going to start, but I just have to be ready to play my part, because it will happen.
Exactly. And what we've seen is that they will get an opportunity. You see, like someone like Bukayo Saka. Noni Madueke got his chance today, came up with something for us. Bukayo Saka came on and set up a goal. Rashford came on, Marcus Rashford came on and scored a goal. People will get a chance off the bench, because it's going to be long and we're going to need everybody, and everybody has to be ready.
Who's impressed? I'm not talking about England now, I'm talking about the World Cup. Who's impressed you most so far, country-wise?
Well, obviously you look at the way Argentina, Messi's up and running. You'd be impressed today for England. Spain had a little bit of setback. But again, I try not to overanalyse after the first game. There'll be ups and downs along the way.
France,
the key is France, of course, the usual stuff. But of course, the key is peaking at the right time.
Yes.
The way France played, the way Elise... we saw Patrick Vieira, who's with us this morning. He was like, the way Elise played as well, Gary. You're thinking, defensively, you would have to be absolutely on it when you're playing France like that.
Look, we've just talked about England running forward with speed and with electricity, and you watch those French forwards when they go forward, Elise and Mbappe and Dembele, all of them, they're unbelievable, honestly. The speed they've got in that attack is frightening, but we've got players who can run forward quickly. Rodgers, Rashford, Gordon, Saka, Madueke, Bellingham. I'm not saying they're all the same level as the players I've mentioned for France, but I'll tell you what, they'll cause massive problems for defences.
It's the World Cup, Gal. We're supposed to see top players frightening other people. We're frightening people now, I think, with what we've just shown as well. We're amongst that lot, Gal.
You know who else is very happy, don't you? The Boston pub owners. They've got 2 Scotland games and 1 England game.
Wow.
They have had the biggest touch of the World Cup, I think. It's absolutely phenomenal what's happened there.
Yeah.
So England go to Boston next to play Ghana, and we're going to have Scotland's game against Morocco on Friday in Boston as well. So that's going to be absolutely fantastic. We really hope to hear from Thomas Tuchel before we start thinking about the Ghana-Panama game. But at the moment, the German hasn't come to see us just yet, so we will try and do that when it happens. OK, so from Croatia's point of view, does it feel like the sort of game that with Modric you go, maybe the time, well, obviously the time is near, but the time has come?
Yeah, most definitely, I think, at this level. Particularly against a brilliant team like England, who are overran them in midfield. But don't be writing them off for this competition, because the last 2 games, on paper, look games Croatia are more than capable of winning, and let's not be writing them off yet over the next few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Because they did actually, at 3-2, there was just 10 minutes, wasn't there, where England got dropped deeper and deeper and deeper, and you're thinking, don't invite them on too much,
No,
England.
but Mark, that's what I was saying about you're going to have to, at points in games for 10, 15, 20 minutes, soak up some pressure and be good at soaking up pressure and then counter-attack off it. So, look, England have got to play 2 or 3 different ways to get through the entirety of this tournament.